Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Callie, and today I'll be guiding you through a stretch series on the reformer. This routine will leave you feeling rejuvenated and restored. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started on the reformer. We'll begin on a blue and a white spring, just having a seat facing the foot bar. You want to scoot pretty close to the foot bar so that your hands can easily rest on top of the bar with your elbows slightly bent. We're going to start with just a nice big breath in, sitting tall through the spine. And on our exhalation, we're going to round back, kind of leaning into a little cat stretch. Let your shoulder blades separate, gaze towards your belly button. Inhale, lift your chest, gaze slightly up, arching the lumbar spine, lifting the sternum. Exhale, rounding the spine, curling back of the sit bones. One more time. Inhale. Tilt the tailbone back behind you, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under, scoop the abs, round the spine, and drop the head. Restack the spine all the way up to a neutral spine. Let's take a gentle side bend. Keeping your right hand on the bar, reach your left arm up overhead. Reach up to go over into side bend to the right. Make sure that you maintain even weight through your sit bones here. And rise back up, replacing that left hand. Right arm comes up, and a nice side bend over to the left. Again, maintaining even weight through the sit bones. And rise it back up. Let's repeat. Left arm coming up, breathe in. Exhale into side bend, and this time we're going to round our upper rib cage as we sort of sweep our arm over the top of the bar and then restack the spine. Again to the right, right arm comes up, big side bend over to the left and around the spine, sweeping your right arm over the bar and replacing that right hand. Then we'll take a spine twist. So take your left hand to the edge of the foot bar to your right, and then your right hand can grab onto whichever shoulder block you can reach, whichever one makes the most sense for you. We want to keep our shoulders level. We want to keep our hips square so they're still facing the foot bar. Eyes guiding the spine. And gently untwist, and we'll go to the other side. So your right hand's at the left corner of the bar, and your left hand is holding onto one of those blocks. Hips are still facing forward. One more time each side. Nice spinal rotation. Maybe get a little bit further than you did the first time. And last time to the left. And back to center. Place the heels of the hands on the bar. Gently push the carriage out, and as you do so, lean forward and lift the legs up off the floor. Draw nice circles here with your ankles. Maybe 2 circles one way, and then 2 circles the other way. As you start to bend your elbows, roll your carriage in, roll your spine up the rest of the way to an upright position. Good. Next, we'll move into monkey stretch. So you're going to come to a position at the front of the carriage and slide out, placing the arches of your feet on the bar, balls of the feet on the bar. You want to be really far forward, but just be careful you're not so far forward that you're going to fall off of the front edge of your carriage. We're going to bend the knees, curl into a nice tight ball, rounding the spine, tuck your tailbone underneath of you, and then gently extend the legs as straight as you can into a nice forward fold, feeling a nice stretch in our hamstrings. Inhale, bend the knees, curl into a nice tight ball, tuck your tail, round your spine, and exhale, re-extend the legs straight. This should feel really, really good all up and down the back of the legs and even into your lumbar spine. There's a few different variations that we'll be playing around with here. So if you like one more than the other as we start to go through them, feel free to stick to that version. Our next time, let's keep the legs extended straight, or as straight as you can manage. See if you can pull your shoulder blades out of your ears. Begin to alternate bending one knee at a time. You may have to lift your chest up a little bit so that your knee doesn't come so close to your face. But in general, I'm bringing my knee to the inside of my armpit as it bends. Focus on driving that one heel underneath the bar, stretching the calf. Bend the knees, round the spine, curl into a tight ball again. Last one in this position. And gently re-extend straight. Okay. Our next foot position, we're going to be in a Pilates V with our arches or heels on the bar, wherever you feel like you can get your best footing. We're going to be bending the knees, holding on to the outsides of the bar. Our knees are going out to the sides of the room. You can choose to tuck the tailbone under into a little C curve or stay a little more upright and see if you feel the stretch more in your inner thighs when you're more upright. And now holding onto the rotation of your legs, you're going to extend your legs as straight as you can, feeling that the back of your calves and the back of your hamstrings spiral towards each other. This stretch can feel a little bit more intense. So we'll go a little bit slower. Inhale, bend the knees. You can either round or straight back, whichever you prefer. And then pressing the carriage out, extending the legs as straight as you can, pulling your upper body forward over those legs. Let's just do one more of those. Inhale, lift the chest, opening those knees wide towards the side. Exhale, re-extend, straight forward fold. Keep your legs straight here. You can bring your hands to your legs around your spine as you restack your spine. And then we'll move our heels up to the widest points of the bar. This will be our last variation here. Make sure you're still at the front edge of the carriage. We're going to be doing some twisting where we need to be able to reach the bar. So the further forward you can be, the better. But again, be careful. Bending the knees. Grab a hold of the foot bar, keep your chest lifted, keep your back straight. And as you pull yourself forward, I want you to really feel the stretch down through the inner thighs into the groin and maybe into the back, the lower back especially if you're a little bit on the tighter side. Continue to flex your feet back towards you. And then extend the legs straight into a forward fold, still holding onto the rotation of your legs. Keep your knees facing in the direction of your toes. Inhale, bend the knees, nice flat back, lift the chest. And exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, lift the chest. You're going to take your left hand more towards the right corner of the bar. Extend your right arm up, we're going into a twist, and as you extend your leg straight, open that right arm. You might just be on your fingertips here on the bar, but if you would rather just lift the arm, that's fine. Inhale, bend the knees, find the bar, come back to center. Exhale, open, nice spinal rotation, twist, look back at your hand. Our goal is to keep our pelvis square to the foot bar. So our upper body, our rib cage and up is what's rotating. Our lower body is not. This next rotation, hold the twist. Hold onto the bar if you can. You're going to take that right arm, reach it up to the ceiling. Take a side bend, maybe bending the left elbow as you come closer to the bar. So keep peeking under your right shoulder. Inhale as you open that right arm up and around, twist, twist, twist. Exhale as you reach up, over, bend. Inhale, open the chest, open the arm. Exhale, bend the knees, look underneath that right shoulder. And one more time, inhale, open. Exhale, this time we're gonna kind of cartwheel that right hand onto the bar and on top of the left one. And extend the legs straight. Hands can come onto the legs, around the spine, and restack. Make sure your pelvis is still neutral, tailbone facing the ground. We're gonna bend the knees, take the right hand, hold on to the left side of the bar. So my hand is about maybe 4 or 5 inches away from my left foot. Reaching the left arm forward here. Take a breath in, open that left arm, twist, rotating the spine. If you want to let go of the bar, level the arms, you can. Bend the knees, lift the left arm, back up, and starting in your centered position. Lift up, rotate, easing into the movement, twist. You might find that it's easier to twist one way more than the other way. That's totally fine and normal. Don't force anything out of reason. Hold your next rotation. We take the left arm, we reach it up to the ceiling, bend both knees, and kind of look underneath that left shoulder. Inhale as you open your left arm, look back at it. Exhale, bend the knees, reach your left arm up and over. Inhale, straighten the knees. Last time, bending the knees. Stack left hand on right hand. Move them more towards the center. And then extend the legs all the way straight last time, forward fold. And rounding the spine. Keep your legs straight, rounding the spine and rolling yourself back up 1 vertebrae at a time. Great. All right, moving on to our next stretch. We'll be focusing on our quads and hip flexors. So you're gonna come to a kneeling position. You can keep your springs the same, so I'm still on that blue and a white right now. Feet together, knees apart. And I'm scooting back a little bit so my feet are just like inch or 2 onto my headrest. You want to be able to hold onto your shoulder blocks comfortably with the palms of your hands facing forward towards the foot bar and your thumbs facing the sides of the room so your shoulders are open. From here, we're going to gently contract the glutes, press the hips forward. It's totally up to you if you'd like to keep your gaze forward, or you can let your head go back, whatever you're comfortable with. Lower the hips back down, take a breath. We'll do that again. Press into the glutes, pressing the hips forward. And gently lowering the hips back down. Keep your right hand on your right shoulder block. Reach your left arm to the ceiling. You're gonna press your hips forward, twist, and look down at your right hand. Placing the hips back down, switch sides. Feel a big stretch all the way from your pinky finger, down your rib cage, down into your hip, down into your quad. One more time each side. Squeeze the glutes to press the hips forward. And lowering down. Last time to the left. And lowering down. Let's keep our hips to our heels, take a child's pose. Hands up at the widest points of the bar. Keeping your hips on your heels, slide the carriage out, drop your chest heavy through your arms. If that's not comfortable on your shoulders, you can always walk your hands down onto the wood frame of the reformer and slide out from there. And you can certainly rest your head onto the edge of the carriage if you prefer. The stretch will be more intense on your shoulders if your hands are up on the bar. Stack your left hand on top of your right hand and stay in that child's pose. Press your hips more to the left. See if you can exaggerate a stretch through the left side of your body, underneath the armpit, the ribs. Separating the hands. Take a breath in that child's pose. And then take your right hand and put it on top of your left hand. Exaggerate leaning your hips and body a little bit more to the right side. Creating some space between each little rib. Separate the hands, keeping your hips on your heels. Round your spine as you start to roll the carriage in. Roll your spine up the rest of the way. When you get up to the top, roll your shoulders up, down, and back. Next up is elephant stretch. So we'll still stay on that blue and white. You're gonna hold onto your foot bar and stand up onto the carriage carefully. Walk your heels all the way back to your shoulder blocks and drop your chest back through your arms. Keeping your heels down, give the carriage a little rock back and forth. Feel free to bend your knees a little bit, especially if you're having a harder time keeping your heels down. The stretch should be felt in your hamstrings and calves primarily, but you might also notice a stretch underneath your armpits and pecs, depending on how much you're able to press your chest back through your arms. Keep your carriage into the stopper. Take your right hand, grab the outside of your left calf, pull yourself underneath that left shoulder for a nice spinal rotation. Option to rock the carriage back and forth in this twist. Be careful. Replacing your right hand. Left hand's going to grab the outside of your right calf. Take a nice twist through the spine, looking underneath the right shoulder. And again, feel free to rock the carriage back and forth. Replacing your left hand, carefully lowering down to the knees. Next, we'll move into our Eve's lunge series. So I like to do this just on one blue spring. If you'd like a little bit more support, you can keep the white spring on, totally your choice. Let's start with our right foot on the floor. We'll have our right foot on the ground about 1 inch behind the actual foot of the reformer, and then our left foot will be against our shoulder block here. You're going to come into a lunge so that your right knee creates a roughly 90-degree angle here, and your knee joint is right on top of your ankle joint. As you go into this first lunge, you can go nice and low into it. I like to come down onto my elbows and forearms and stay here. We'll anchor the scapulas out of the ears. You can keep your head in line with your spine, or if you're feeling like you want to maybe stack your forearms on the bar and rest your head on top of your forearms, that's fine too. Wherever you'd like to take the stretch. I try not to be too rigid with the stretching as long as we're not going to hurt ourselves. Make your way back up onto your hands and guide the carriage in about halfway. Now this stretch can be a little bit tricky because it's such a minuscule difference in the position of your pelvis. So our front knee is still going to be a little bit bent. You can bring your hands to your hips if your balance is good. And I want you to physically tuck your pelvis underneath of you like a sad dog with its tail between its legs. What that is going to do is intensify the stretch that you're feeling actually in your left hip flexor. If our pelvis is tilted forward like this, like it most likely was in that last lunge, you're not going to feel the stretch as much as you would if it is tucked. And that's because of where your your hip flexor attaches into at the front of your pelvis here. So the more neutral your pelvis is, the more of a pull your hip flexor will get, okay? Keep that stretch going on. If you're able to, right fingertips on the bar, left arm to the ceiling, and take a nice side bend over to the right. Just a little one, not too crazy. Rise up from there. We're gonna take our low lunge again. So bending that right knee, come nice and low, as low as you can. Take your left elbow and place your left elbow and forearm all the way over onto the left shoulder track and lean into it. Then we're gonna open our right arm towards the ceiling and look up at that right hand for a nice twist. So I try to create a line from my right hand down to my right shoulder and through to my left shoulder and left elbow. So these points are all stacked. Replace your right hand on the bar, rise all the way up and draw the carriage in for a second. Take your right leg and straighten it. Flex your toes to the ceiling so that you're on your right heel. Keeping your leg straight, lean forward for a hamstring stretch. You can walk your hands down to the traps or wherever you feel is best for you. The majority of the stretch you felt in the back of your right leg. And start to make your way back up from there. Our next stretch is an inner thigh stretch facing the reformer. Rotate your left toes up to face the ceiling. My right foot on the ground is still turned out about 45 degrees or more. And then I'm gonna lean forward, placing the left hand onto the carriage and the right hand onto whichever silver track you can more easily reach, and sliding out for your inner thigh stretch. You can choose to lean forward and come down onto your left elbow and forearm if you're super flexible, or if you'd like to stay more upright, that's fine too. Again, wherever you would like to take the stretch. You can stay in this stretch or change it up by bending your right knee, and that right knee is gonna go behind the silver bar of your reformer. You're gonna keep your chest more upright and think of dropping your tailbone downward. So we're not as far forward for this stretch. You should feel the stretch in your inner thighs and groin. Slowly draw the carriage in. You can walk around the reformer or holding onto the bar, carefully maneuver across to the other side. Starting with Eve's lunge, left foot is on the ground. Your toes are about 1 inch behind the foot of the reformer. Let's come into a nice low lunge. Elbows and forearms can come onto the bar if you'd like. You can stack your forearms and rest your head. And just notice where your body is feeling the stretch. It could be everywhere from left hamstring to right hip flexor and right quad. Those are the usual culprits. Coming up onto fingertips. The carriage is in about halfway. The front knee is still slightly bent. You're gonna take your pelvis, tuck it underneath of you like the saddest dog in the world, and feel that stretch intensify through your right hip and right quad. From there, reach your right arm up, left fingertips to the bar, and take a side bend over to the left. If you lose the stretch, just come out of it for a second, retuck. Remember, it's all about that pelvic tilt, that posterior tilt. And draw the carriage all the way in. Moving into hamstring stretch, you're gonna flex your left toes to the ceiling, keeping your left leg straight, lean forward, walk your hands down the tracks. And our inner thigh stretch, face the reformer. Rotate your right toes up to face the ceiling. Your left toes are still facing out to the left. Be close to the foot bar so that when you do bend your left knee in a moment, it's going to go behind that bar. Right hand to the carriage, left hand to the tracks. You can lean forward or you can stay more upright, whichever you prefer. Because the next stretch is more upright, I like to lean forward on this one. Majority of the stretch is definitely in those inner thighs and groin. Start to bend your left knee. Try to have your knee behind the shoulder bar. That's going to help keep that maximally rotated position for your inner thighs and hips. And then being more upright and thinking of dropping your tailbone downward. Hang in there. Continue to breathe. And we'll draw the carriage all the way back in. You can come around to the other side of the reformer or wherever you have space to do a standing roll down. Let's just recenter ourselves after all of that bending and twisting that we've just done. So feet parallel, about shoulder width apart. Take a big breath in, sweep your arms out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms of your hands to face the ceiling. Press the hips forward, gaze up. Release your arms, swan dive all the way down to the ground into a forward fold. Bend the knees, take a hold of opposite elbows. Gently sway your torso right and left. And with your hands on your legs, soft knees, round your spine, roll yourself up to standing one vertebrae at a time. As you come up to the top, shrug your shoulders up, down, and back. And with that, you're all finished. I hope you feel amazing. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today to move your body. As always, please be sure to like, share, and comment on these videos. It helps support the channel and lets me know what's working for you and what's not. If you have any suggestions or things that you would like to see in the next video, please comment below. I'm always open to requests. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.